Whew, sorry about that. I was having audio issues, and y'all would not have been able to hear Dr. Short when he calls in. Well, anyway, that's another story. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Hell has found a new demon. And I think this is one of the biggest demons this is a big, Satan, this is a big catch for you. Even though we're on the same side, Satan, salute to you. You called home one of the most effective demons you've ever created. I'm having this show today about Dick Cheney because I know how the media works. They're already trying to whitewash his image. They're trying to make it seem as if he wasn't hell on wheels. They spent the last 10 years basically erasing his presidency. And I do say his presidency because he was the one running the show, not that stupid ass Bush. This guy did way more harm to this country than Donald Trump can think of, okay? And all through, I don't have to mention the two wars. I don't have to mention our suspicions around 9/11. I don't have to talk about the stock market crash or the housing bubble crash or none of that. We could just go to the Patriot Act. There used to be a day that you can fly around the country, get to the airport 10 minutes before your flight, run through like OJ, get to your flight, don't have to take no shoes off, no TSA pre-check needed. And he took that all away. You know what came after the Patriot Act? Baggage fees. They allowed airlines to cry and bitch and moan when it used to be you buy a plane ticket, you could take your carry-on, your personal item, and 2 bags, and that was all covered by your flight ticket. And in the 90s, the cost of flights are the same as they are now. So I don't want no one thinking, okay, well, it's because you guys are spending. No, we was flying to Texas in 95 for $300-400 the round trip, the same way I'm flying to Texas now for $300-400 round trip. And everything was covered. All that changed. The surveillance, the NSA, all these different government agencies that spy on us, that all came after the Patriot Act. And you could thank this dickhead for that happening. That's just one move. Like I said, we ain't talking about the rest. So I had to get that out. I wanted to say no, hell no. We are not about to allow this asshole to be immortalized. No, we not. Not on my watch. Not if I got anything to do with it. So to pull off this show the right way, I want to make sure I gotta give somebody a call. I gotta call Dr. Randy Short. Because Dr. Short, we haven't heard from him in a while. He's been going through a lot. But I called him, I was like, Dr. Short, come on, we gotta talk about this. And he was ready to go. So I said, cool, let's do it. And we're about to hear, hopefully, I don't think he has his number. I'm calling from. Let's see again.
White Jesus.
There you got it. Dr. Short. The people are happy to hear from you again. We are talking about Dick Cheney, but before we get, I just give you.
Don't you like that first name? Oh, it's so
yeah, because he fucked everybody. But I gave everybody
small.
I gave everybody a preface. I gave everybody a preface about what he did as far as the Patriot Act and things like that. Just a short synopsis. Before I get started into you, we want to make sure that first off, the audience wants to know how. Before we get into business, Dr. Short, how are you doing? Because everybody out there loves you. How are you doing?
Oh my God, brother, I'm gonna be better. You know, my mother passed. Everybody knows this. And when you're taking care of someone, you don't take care of yourself. So, believe it or not, thanks to you, Sister Tachina Arnold, and all the other people, all the FDA people and others online, people just did a lot of stuff. You know, my cancer went to remission, then it came back because I was so busy taking care of my mother. So don't worry. It jumped like 40%, 45%. I'll work. I just need to go back to doing the natural stuff. The good news is my little white doctor recognizes the stuff I'm getting from black doctors, listening to Yaki and other people, that it was working. And so I had to go back to taking the natural things, the dandelion, the pawpaw, the CoQ10. I just wasn't doing that because,
you were taking care, yeah.
My mother aged 40 years in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see a person go, it messes your mind up.
Yeah.
And other things, I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. I had enough diarrhea to be a bottle of Kiehl's Pectate. I mean, just crazy. I mean, I've taken Maalox and shit like they're M&Ms because, I mean, it messed your stomach up. But I feel better. I'm sleeping now. My godmother's here. Finally got the insurance companies that they just really, man, there's going to be a mass shooting in some of these insurance companies, man, because they just do a lot of raw stuff that could make a lot of people snap. I mean, they just did something yesterday to me. I had to go off on them. I don't know if I told you, DeJuan, that, I mean, they lied to the funeral home. These people are talking about throwing my mother's remains back at me because there was no money. When there was money, it was wild.
Wow.
It's just, and then greedy family members. You know, damn. I'm telling you, I didn't say. I need to tell you. One of my cousins, this hoe had the nerve to ask me for my mother's furniture and shit. Like, what am I supposed to sleep on?
See,
and I want brooch, and can I have the shit back that I bought for her? I mean, it's like a Fred Sanford, a reunion show. The stuff that people are doing, you know. So if I come out to California and genealogy is cool. It's just the people in the family. Learning the history is good, but some of the people are fucked up. You almost thank God for slavery and white people breaking our families up where these niggas have been acting. I'm not trying to be funny. Like my millionaire uncle that had like $100, thinking he's helping me.
Yeah, see, that's how it is, that family doctor show, man. But we're just glad to hear that you are okay.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm getting there, you know, and as you know, I even have songs and all for Dick Cheney.
Now, yeah, let's get into talking about Dick Cheney.
Yeah, little Dick Cheney or Pink Dick Cheney.
You told me offline, Dr. Short, that you've had personal interactions with Dick Cheney. Let's start there.
Yes. And his wife.
Oh, and his wife.
Yeah, just these people were racist sludge, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Racist, vicious, vile sludge. Even white people don't like them, except for if you're a certain rich class. Now, my experience with Mrs. Cheney, she got brought to Howard University in the 80s, and she was like doing everything she could to attack anything black on campus. She was in the School of Business. And there was one woman that was trying to do stuff in the community. Her name was Marjorie Hooper. I loved her like a grandmother. And Mrs. Cheney was putting her mouth in, criticizing people trying to get entrepreneurial shit being done in black communities, small black business. What does that bitch care? And yeah, I called her a bitch.
Wow, she was like that.
You know, right? I mean, they micromanage. They don't want us to have anything.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I saw his wife a couple of years ago. I was doing a job. I was working as a butler for a catering company, and we were in the Rayburn building, and I saw Mrs. Cheney. I said, "Hi, Mrs. Cheney." She rolled her eyes and sneered at me and kept walking.
Like that.
Like, yes. And I told the people, that's the vice president's wife. And they didn't believe me. And they're that mean. Now, that's her. Now, let's talk about Dick Cheney.
Okay, let's go ahead.
Dick Cheney is such a mean person. The first time I had ever had to deal with him, again, it was doing stuff on Capitol Hill. I can tell you up front, and his favorite drink, his beverage, non-alcoholic, was Diet Coke. And if you had a party and you didn't have caffeine-free Diet Coke, he would blow a gasket. People could get fired. Literally, you couldn't have an event and not have at least a six-pack of those just for him. He's the only fuck in the world that drank it. I hope he killed it. and you had that, and nobody could touch that. I mean, literally, the people would come by if you were bartending, and they would come through and constantly count the cans. Who got the can? People were freaking off the can because they would come after you over a fucking can of soda.
Wow.
Pardon my language. That blew my mind. Now, there was a dinner that they had in the Castle building of the Smithsonian many, many years ago. And by the way, back then, I had a State Department clearance to work for White House, State Department, and high-level events, which meant they went to my records.
Yeah.
I didn't use drugs. I did right. When you had that was supposed to make everything okay. And typically, if you flashed your State Department ID, which meant the FBI and everybody screened you, you were cool. That was true for everybody except for Dick Cheney's ass. I remember going to the castle to check in so people would know who we were, they could see us, identify us, and the people started cussing and screaming at us. And we're wondering, what are you cussing and screaming at us? We have our ID. And the guy said, one guy walked up to us who must have had a gun or something under his coat. Pardon my language, told us, get the fuck out of here before we do something. We all had to run out of the building. They were, ready to shoot us.
Wow.
For showing up for work.
Shit.
And I said, this must be a Dick Cheney event, because normally when you show up, you got your ID, you come on time, you're on the list. They've already been through all of this. That's enough. Not for Dick Cheney. I said, oh my God, we're going to have a rough night. This is a Dick Cheney event. Says, how do you know? Look at how mean everybody's acting. People going out of the way to show how poorly they can treat people. And we're black, by the way. And when it came time to come back in the building, we had to stand outside in the heat as they screened the building. In fact, there was more. There's several. Let me just say to you, when Bush was president, and they would do the sweeps with the dogs to look for bombs, to look for snipers and all of that, they may check the building 2 or 3 times. If Dick Cheney was there, they wouldn't just do the National Building Museum. They would do all the buildings in the perimeter, and they may do it 6 or 7 times. And there was the visible presence of people prepared to shoot you on the roofs.
To shoot?
Yes, there were people literally all around. There was way more security for Cheney than there ever was for Bush.
Yeah, because, he was the one running shit.
Yeah, he was the one, and he's crazier than Bush. Bush is halfway nice. Speak to him, Cheney. Let me tell you.
Yeah, Cheney used to grumble. Cheney wouldn't even talk, would he? He would just kind of grumble.
Yeah, and people are afraid to speak to him. Hope that he doesn't speak to you. If he speaks to you, it's not good. If he's speaking to you, it's not good. Damn. You just anyway. Let me just say to you, after we stood out in the heat, the people then brought us in and told us they went through everything. They went through our keychains. We went to the metal thing. They checked everything to look for knives and everything. In fact, I I think they had it such that normally when you do catering and all, they expect you to have a bottle opener, wine key, and all that. They didn't even want you to have that. So all
Wow.
the wine and shit, it was like the wine would be opened by
They had twist
they
tops.
already, I don't know how it was, but you know, people were tripping off of wine keys and all, which you're supposed to have. How are you going to act like I'm an assassin with the wine key when I was required to bring it?
Right.
I mean, you told me to bring it. Now you're going to tell me I'm a potentially dangerous person for having equipment you told me to bring. All right, we go through this, and we were told stay out of the room in which they're serving food, and then we were told to stay in the kitchen. I'd never had that experience, and it was hot as hell in the kitchen, and there were people down there with guns watching us as we got lined up to do the service on the tables, and there were people in the crowd with guns watching us. Then we were told, get out.
Damn. That's rude
And
as
then
fuck.
we were put somewhere and had to wait. And then Dick Cheney came in. I don't even think he ate with the other people. Came in, spoke, left. And once he left, the whole thing changed. But when is there? I was thinking, am I going to get shot if I make a sudden move with this hot ass soup in my hand? I mean, people thinking you're up trying to do shit. I mean, and it was weird. This literally happened, but the worst thing that ever happened in the National Building Museum, I think there was some kind of fundraiser for the governors or whatever, and we got told that we needed to go over to the suite and take stuff to Mr. Cheney. And I said, "Are you guys sure?" And we told, "Let's do what we said. We can just get jacked up doing what you said with them." Mm-hmm. So what happened? We went over. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I hear you. Go ahead.
We went over. We were going to take in this plastic tub the drinks with this damn diet caffeine-free Coke, and these people pulled Uzis on us and asked us what were we doing there. We're in our tuxes with all our stuff on, and they had guns pulled on us.
This sounds like an episode of Knight Rider.
And they told us to get the hell out of there. And we did. and they told us to just get out. And so we went back and we got yelled at by the white superiors. Why didn't you take this? We were told we couldn't take it. Who told you? I said another group of white people with guns over there. I hope you have better luck than us. I'm waiting. Go. Uh-huh. And then within minutes, they called and complained that they didn't have any beverages. Huh. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, who wants to?
So they're not even organized. They're mean and not even organized.
They don't have to be. They're white. I'm white and in power. I could be stupid. I can do a great Gatsby party while I cut off Snap. And you should still love me if I starve you and start wars and shit. Right? I want a discounted price of oil on Nigeria as I declare war. I'm a mean, vicious, white asshole, and you better like me because I'll shoot you if you don't. This is the death of an empire. The folk can't navigate day-to-day life with people because they're so malignantly narcissistic, vile, vicious, and hateful. So let me say to you, eventually, the drinks got taken over. We got blamed for how we came there. How were we to know how to come? We did. Everything was someone else's fault.
They wanted y'all to come. They wanted y'all to walk on y'all knees. That's why.
Well, but you know what? You can't hold a tub with ice and drinks in it on your knees.
Figure it out, nigga.
But if you had a rolling cart, they would have thought that, maybe you had a bomb on it. So almost everything that you did was wrong. And So I just remember saying, God, I can't stand this man. And whenever anybody had anything to do, people would have problems. They would get harassed. I had these small flashlights on my keychain. I got detained and people thought I had a bomb. And they took it all apart and they said, you know what? Okay, it's not a bomb. We still don't want you to take it in the building.
Damn.
What are you scared of? You know who I am. You know what I live. You know what I do. You know what kind of keys I have. You know that I have flashlights on my keychain. Take the battery out. And he just says, well, he has the right to be suspicious. And, well, he's intimidated by the design. So they took the stuff. They just took it from me. I wanted to work, so you work.
See.
So I'm talking about guns and him sneer at you and look at you. In fact, when Dick Cheney came in, they made certain particular that the black people were removed. Like, there's something about seeing black people seem to anger him. Just visible black people make these people mad. Just seeing unleashes, I don't know, what's that called? Anger management issues, just at the sight of someone that's not white.
Wow.
You know, so, you know, my feeling when I saw he died, you know, I broke into that song. Can I sing it?
Go ahead.
Cheney's going to hell tomorrow. Ain't that good news? Man, ain't that news? Cheney's going to hell tomorrow. Ain't that news? Man, ain't that news? and then
hey,
I was thinking a lot.
You know, I had something
all night.
I had something I was gonna play. But appreciate the Cash App, Mogul Maze. I had something. You know, the first thing I thought when he died, this song played in my mind right here. That part. It was like when I read that. It was like that moment when I read Dick Cheney passed away. There's like a magic moment in the time.
I was thinking of Kool and the Gang.
Celebrate.
Celebration.
When I put up that song, Dr. Short, before you go further, you know you've had a lot going on, and people want to know how can they help you, where can they contribute to. Tell the people right now where they can send some money to.
Okay, well, I do have a Cash App. It's my mother's Cash App that they can't take away. I did a show talking about what was
get them the Cash App first, then let's get into the story.
Oh, it's Dr. Dr. Lancaster, $ Dr. Lancaster.
Okay.
That's a Cash App.
What's another one?
I got a PayPal and Zelle are both my email. wrandyshort@gmail.com.
You said PayPal. Oh, hold on, man. This thing keeps. I'm typing it in. You said you said Zelle.
PayPal. And PayPal is wrandyshort@gmail.com. I've got a Venmo, which is Dr. Randy Short. And of course, you know that the next thing I'm doing from here on out, I've got a GoFundMe, which I guess is under Dr. Short. But I'm committing to my mother because she was an anti-trafficking activist. There's a GoFundMe. I think I can send you the link to that, Dewan, right now. And that's as soon as I get everything together, get through probate, and I'm working on a trust. The trust will be called the Lancaster Short Family Trust. Part of what we'll be doing is advocating because what we have is slavery. You know, my mom died saying her work wasn't done because this illegal from Guatemala butchered this girl here in our area and left her in the field. Girl from a good family, and that's destroyed a lot of people because we have all these black women missing here in the D.C. area. Nobody talks about it. We have a black female senator who won't open her mouth. So I'm with a group of activists as soon as, I'm through because it's hard missing your mother. My mother goes from looking like a beauty queen to looking like a dinosaur. And I think I sent you a picture where my mother had this big. I mean, she had 3 tumors. She looked like she had been having sex with King Kong, and just it was just busting her open. It was so big. When you have to work through that. There's some trauma, but I'll get to it. But as soon as we're out, we're gonna be raising hell about this slavery. Slavery's always wrong. Trafficking is to make it sound nice. It's slavery. We have more black women are being enslaved annually in the United States than what were being sold in the 1850s and 60s. This should never be acceptable to us. So now, I may have lost a mom, but I'm back on this cause. We got to raise hell. This just can't happen. They're taking boys, too. I mean, and a lot of these people, my friend that's a judge I'm going to introduce you to, almost 80% of the people now that are trafficked, it is, believe it or not, Dewan, they're doing involuntary servitude. That's slavery.
Mm-hmm.
It's slavery. Slavery's here, and every year, as many people are enslaved in America as the total number of Africans brought here. Over 300,000, and that's an old number. We got more slavery going on in America now than we did when Abraham Lincoln with this little stovepipe hat on. I just sent you the GoFundMe link. It's in your.
What I'll do is I put that in the description, and right here on the screen for everybody listening on the screen, I have Dr. just above me. I have Dr. Short's first is Cash App. I have the Zelle/PayPal, and I have his Venmo right here above my head. So make sure if y'all want to know where to find them, make sure y'all reach out to that. Dr. Short, I want
to remind them that I have the Angry Black Men's Book Club. I'm going to start broadcasting again. In fact, I got to celebrate that James Brown-looking woman with the iguana face. What's her name? Winston Sears.
She looks like James Brown.
Looks like James Brown. I hope she loses in Virginia. And, my big prediction is that J.D. Vance is going to hook up with Charlie Kirk's wife. Because her baby looks like him. They probably already hooked up. He's going to ditch that Hindu broad. I mean, in fact, you can put the dot back on. Cause
Charlie Kirk's wife. And we're going to talk about that on the Patreon. Dr. Short and I going to come back on Thursday or Friday. For them to do a Patreon where we're going to go way more in depth than we can here on YouTube, because y'all know how YouTube is with us. But yeah, Charlie Kirk's wife, that brought her she for the streets. He been dead and she been hugging folks' face. She ain't shed not one tear.
Well, no, the tears she's shedding is in her drawers. That waterfall, man, we could put a hydroelectric plant down there. We could end the energy shortage.
We got to talk about. On Patreon. We got to talk about Tucker Carlson getting kicked out of MAGA because of his interview with Nick Fuentes and how those folks are going at it. We got.
You know what? If we black people were serious, we'd get Nick Fuentes a black boyfriend. Then he'd start talking about integration. Dude needs. I mean, the little white dick ain't helping him. I mean, somebody black that hate black men. Some snow bunny, sell out coon, please go with Fuentes so we black men can get a break. This dude's trying to start a race war because he can't get his booty blown out. Somebody help him, please. Damn, I'm not even advocating for sodomy, but someone screw him. Put something in his mouth, keep him from talking.
Right, that little motherfucker. I want to get back on topic for this because we're gonna go deeper on other topics on Patreon. So make sure y'all go to the Patreon. For Thursday, either Thursday or Friday. Dr. Short and I worked it out behind the scenes, and I'll let you guys know whether it's Thursday or Friday. We do that next one. But with that being said,
and you know what?
Go ahead.
Hold on. We just ended the month of Tevageddon, and look at what came at the end.
Yeah.
At the very end of Tevageddon, Trump's talking about invading Africa. Now, do you realize if the United States gets into a war with Venezuela and with an African country, all the illegals and people, all you tethers that have been messing with us, folks, I mean, all kinds of jobs and stuff. And all I can say to y'all, snap. My prediction is they're going to have to fund that because there's nothing crazier than a hungry, broke-ass, armed white person. They don't respect nobody. I mean, it'll make January 6th look like the Easter parade if they don't feed these hungry ass white people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to get into that because I was going to go back into, and we'll go back to the inner Cheney and some of his stuff, but let's get into that part right there. Right now, we got Donald Trump only partially funding SNAP, and the overwhelming majority of people on SNAP are white people. All these red counties all throughout Kentucky and Louisiana and all these places that are all white. How is this? What's going to happen here before we get back to Dick Cheney? I want to hear your opinion on that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. People have forgotten about the nitazines, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the new dope that's 100 times stronger than fentanyl. That's spreading across the country. You're going to see repression and a die-off of broke-ass white people because you can't please them. And they're not understanding that their asses have been downsized. And not all niggers are black. And this is a big problem. Johnson tried to tell them that white folks are niggers who are hating on another group of niggers. Mad at, I mean, they're willing to have nothing as long as blacks have nothing. But if you've been welfare reforming black people since Clinton's time, removing us from the roll,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and, I mean, look, a lot of these people, SNAP is a program that feeds 42 million or more Americans. A minimum of 18 million of them are white outright, almost half. And then a whole bunch of other people, honorary white people. So the majority of the people getting stuff are honorary white people. Then the other side to that is that these people don't just get the SNAP. You got white folks in Kentucky, they're getting the crazy checks too.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting all the SSI. All of that's allowing their asses to buy their fentanyl. Cut all this stuff and cut off all the food. You're going to see how vile people can get. Bread riots and so forth. Now, what they're trying to do, because this is how white folks cut off their nose to spite their face, they've been pushing for the reduction and the elimination of programs because they want to eliminate black people without thinking about the fact that public housing, aid to dependents and so forth, AFDC, aid for families with dependent children, all of this is for white people. Blacks couldn't even get it. These were programs to prop up basically broke-ass, depleted white people who got help in the Great Depression. Black people got food. The Civil Rights Movement and other things opened the door for black people to get some of the government assistance that everybody else got. If they cut that stuff off, thinking that they're going to just hurt black people, white folks are getting welfare and denying and saying that blacks shouldn't get it. Look, I went to Ivy League schools. The white kids at Harvard were getting welfare. Harvard students, because your students can get SNAP, get food stamps. Why not? A lot of people get this stuff. White folks have gotten more welfare. In fact, just look at something as basic as the Homestead Act. White people are given 900,000 square miles of land for being white and broke. That's the size of Western Europe or the Congo. Just because you're white, you don't have anything at the expense of blacks and Indians. Here, all of this is for you. What happens when the empire can't buy off its muscle and its henchmen? And we're reaching a point now with the social contract between the white billionaires and the white masses that don't have anything. That social contract is largely gone. The illegals prove that.
Dr. Short,
that they can get.
You asked a critical question, and I want you to go into your history back on this question right here. What happened to the Roman Empire when they stopped paying the Visigoths and Vandals to stay out? What happened?
And they stopped giving the dole.
Yeah.
Then the people no longer wanted to fight in the armies of the Caesars and of the kings, of the emperors, and they no longer had an army willing to die to fight these other people coming in. As well, something else happened with ancient Rome. They brought in the Germans and all the other people and used them as cannon fodder. But they never let them become part of the society, no matter how hard, no matter what you do to fight, no matter
Never
how
were
well you
Romans.
learn Latin, and you can't be Roman because we said so. The same way blacks can't belong to America, no matter how integral we are to it. What ends up happening is just people have nothing to gain and nothing to lose. Who cares if another army comes in? Who cares? I mean, shit. And when they come to loot, they're not coming to take from the little people. They take from the big people who don't give a damn about anyone. So the Romans ended up losing the kind of cohesion, loyalty, interclass relationship. The patron-client thing was broken, where basically you don't give a damn about me. Who cares if the Huns come in and burn up your house? You hate me. Well, maybe they'll kill me. Maybe you'll kill me. You basically end up having the erosion of a society from within because you don't have the virtues, the morals, the values to hold the society together. And it's all about dog eat dog, you get yours, right? And what did they do? They had bread and circuses. You know, you have porn and violence and all. You have all these things that distract the masses, but in reality, you're distracting and you're giving them grain and you're giving them, you know, the same way America takes stuff and they give worthless dollars. The Romans didn't have anything to give the Africans in Egypt and Sudan growing all the food that the Romans were eating. And people forget that ancient Africa fed Rome. There wouldn't be a damn Rome without African farmers. Real talk. What happens when everybody doesn't give a damn anymore? You hate me, I hate you, and other people hate you. If they hate you, maybe I don't hate them. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's sort
Yeah.
of like, imagine if, let's say the United States declares war on Niger and Burkina Faso. How many black folks, in spite of this FBA thing, aren't going to want to go to Africa and kill Africans?
Mm-hmm.
Not when the police kill us here in the streets here. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
can you
you're right.
imagine what that would
In
do to
spite
the
of our
military?
FBA's divisive differences, we ain't trying to sign them to go kill no Africans. Hell no.
Yeah, even though they will come here and kill us, we wouldn't go there and kill
No.
them. We have more sense than they've got. That's the difference. What happens is the social contract is broken. The main thing that holds this whole white system up, the two things, black people who are black white supremacists and white people who know white isn't superior but like the perks pretending it is.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when a poor white person says, I'm not angry at Dewan and Randy. I'm angry at Dick Cheney. They're terrified of that prospect. And you heard Trump and them are talking about deploying U.S. troops here. It can't be for black people. So what happens when you start having Kent states where the U.S. soldiers or National Guard shoot other white people? That's going to be very interesting when you can't say a nigger did it, a black did it, right? What happens when a white general or a white officer or something shoots a bunch of white kids? You can't say a black did it, right? Certain people would have a meltdown, and when white folk wake up, they're not like black people who kumbaya and read Dr. King and forgive and try to work it out. When white folk get mad, they go postal. In fact, one of the white rights that they have, white privilege, is to be a mass killer, to just destroy stuff because you're angry. And there are tens of millions of people who've been brought up to think they have the right to kill and destroy. If they have a relationship breakup, they lose a job. What if you explain to them that you're not going to be able to eat or own a house or get married or live decently? In fact, you may live worse than the subhuman blacks that you've been trained to look down on. Not everybody can process that and get high or shoot dope. Some folks may want to go out and destroy something. That has been the history of the white poor classes. If you ever get them off of black people, like you did in Bleeding Kansas, or in the riots, a draft riot, although they did attack blacks in New York, white masses are the most violent people in the country. I mean, they'll kill and destroy almost anything. And they can infiltrate because this whole country's security is based on holding down people that you can visibly see based on color. How do you know that that white guy who is at the console for the nuclear power plant, that he's an Okie from the Skokie, or that he's from a trailer park, right? He's white and poor and he sticks himself up. I've seen white folk work to hide their humble origins, like Dick Cheney. What happens when you say to that person, you'll never be anything and you're just white trash forever? Not everybody can take that like black men handle suffering, working 4 or 5 jobs to try to be a father. They haven't had it quite like that. When Professor Black Truth talks about whiteness is the goodies and giveaways,
yeah.
What happens when you take the goodies and giveaways from the white masses? What do they really have? And in reality, the only thing they really have, other than their inferior copycat white culture, is black culture. If you start looking at these videos where the white folks are begging black people to get involved with Palestine and no kings, and the reason none of these movements work is the only thing that galvanizes this country is black people.
Yeah.
Okay, and we need to stay out of it. Let white people fight each other. Pretend that let's all go back to the back of the bus and let them fight at the front of the bus. And if they crash, the impact won't bother us as much at the very back of the bus, but we're up front. We'll hurt like they do. We can't make them love us. We can't get them to understand we mean them no harm. In fact, they've made us the damn tar baby, the bugaboo, the scapegoat for everything. Then let them tear into each other. In fact, the only time that black Americans ever advance in this country is when white people at each other's throats, because there's one consensus. Everybody hates us. Let them fight each other. And they'll still hate us when the fighting is over. But let us not put our energy into choosing sides, red or blue.
Thank
we're
you.
Still screwed.
Because I'm glad you said that, because I hear in California, today's election day for Prop 50. And you have all these niggas jumping up and down because Gavin Newsom said he needs our help for Prop 50. When they didn't do nothing when Nuri Martinez and those Mexicans redistrict tens of millions of dollars out of the Crenshaw district and rezoned. Newsom didn't say nothing, and these same Negroes are saying that we have to vote for Prop 50. Ain't say nothing either. And it's like,
but what about the fires in Altadena? What about the destruction of all that black wealth? I don't hear him saying anything. I'm on the East Coast. What have they done for the black people that lost everything, the black people that were burnt up on purpose? I forgive me. I just don't care. How about that? I don't care.
Yeah, so like, with us, we gotta not care, and so like I want to get back to because I don't want to be here all day. We're gonna go more in depth later on this week. I want to go back to. I got a question for you. People that do all this talking about Trump this and Trump that in the media. If you're gonna rate who has done more harm to America, would you go Trump or would you go Cheney?
I would say Pelosi, Cheney. I can say a lot of people, Schumer, Trump, and also some Republican people. I forget the guy, Bonner. He was no good. The guy that looked like Pinocchio.
No, I get that, but I get this.
Yeah.
And there are no angels in this whole process. But I wanted to really get people who weren't around for the Bush administration. I want to focus in on Cheney and some stuff that he was doing and going on around that time.
Cheney was a monster. Cheney was a monster, and Cheney didn't start with Bush. Cheney's been attacking America and black people since Nixon. He's been a monster for 50 years. I mean, he's had a career longer than Godzilla.
He said loan to
And
Godzilla.
yeah, remember Godzilla's ass kind of played out. Dick Cheney was still destroying stuff,
Yeah.
and he still got the little daughter faking like she's liberal, and then the other daughter, the carpet munching one, probably got more fur balls than Morris the cat. Look, th- these people are monsters. And they're plutocrats. They've gutted the country, and Dick Cheney is a part of it, and a major part. And these kinds of evil people that came in with Nixon to attack everything, the little band-aids that Johnson put out for black people, they got into government to fight everything that could make the society in any way appear to have
Yeah.
any degree of fairness in it. He's as much a devil, but let's just say internationally, look at Syria. Look at how that country's been destroyed. Look at all the people dying in Gaza. And the reason I'm going to say this is to you is that Dick Cheney owns interests in the companies that have illegal mineral rights to the Golan Heights, land that Israel stolen from Syria, that Israel's recently just taken. Within his lifetime, he's lived to see the Israelis just take all of it. And as you and I talk, the United States is stealing oil from Syria. I'm wondering, is Dick Cheney getting paid off of it?
Huh. Huh. That's an interesting point of view. Go into now Dick Cheney's relationship, or I should say family ship with President Obama.
I don't know that as well, but what I want to say about Dick Cheney is his connection to the Bechtel Corporation, this big, rich CIA international, where these companies invest in and specialize in promoting war, destruction, demolition, and reconstruction. So they'll go in, destroy a country like Iraq, and hang around until they get to rebuild it. Pick a country, destroy the country, get rich rebuilding it. It's all about the perpetuation of war and black, brown, and non-white countries and getting paid off the people's misery
Okay, I was
and
putting
using a lot of
Bechtel.com.
our people to die
You said Bechtel.
fighting in these senseless wars as this country's gutted out. I was trying to take an Amtrak from Woodbridge. I mean, we have a sucky train system in comparison to what they have in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, or China, or Japan, or South Korea. How could we be more backwards, a country that needs the train, than countries that just started getting them? It's because people like China, all their money is made. They have planes. They don't need trains. They don't care about the roads. They don't care about the bridges. They don't care about the infrastructure of this country that's declining. They don't care about anything. They all live out in Jackson Hole. They've got their own airplane strips and helicopter pads. They've got their own little private islands all over the world. They live in a world separate and distinct, and they don't mind if the rest of us live like one of these dystopian futuristic films like RoboCop, where we're just all out here just, dying, and these rich people live in really nice, wonderful areas. These people have made a world of neo-modern feudalism, where a few live like gods, and the masses of people can't figure out what to do. And imagine, just when you learn skills like coding, they come up with AI and shit. So even the high-tech scientific Negroes and Negresses thought that they could get high-paying work. They eliminate that shit. And they sit up thinking about ways to keep everybody poor and miserable, and yet they're unhappy. Dick Cheney's not happy. And how many heart transplants? He had about 4 or 5. I wonder how many dead
Yeah,
black
I
men's
saw
hearts they got.
he died at 84. I swear he was in his 80s when he was vice president. All those different he said he's had like 4 or 5 hearts.
Yeah, and probably kept getting them, probably organ harvesting off of our brothers and sisters. You know, they will take your organs, little black, stupid ass black men that are gang banging. They want you to gang bang. You know, they wanted to steal my organs, brother. When I just a few years ago, imagine listening to people celebrating getting your organs, which I did over here. People want to gut me like I'm a dressed hog. So people like Cheney, who tell you black people are inferior, but everybody knows we have the best blood and the best organs.
Yeah, this
Devil,
he's
Satan. That's what I'm
and that's
saying.
something I wanted to make sure I got out, because the media, as we see right now on CNN, they're trying to rewrite his narrative into some person that was
But they
off.
did that with Henry Kissinger.
Yeah,
You know,
pro America and
they
all
want to
that
do it.
shit.
They want to do it for Hitler. The only reason they don't do that is the Jewish donors for the Democratic and Republican Party. I mean, they want to make all of these people good. I mean, they want to make a Custer a humanitarian, killing Indians. I mean, it's in reality, as I tell people up on Twitter when I write James Wood, I always make fun of him. White people can't look in the mirror because they don't like what they see. That's why they're always deflecting, talking about black crime and this statistic and that statistic. Because if you really look at yourself, you know, right? It's sort of like when you're in the bathroom at the urinal. I remember seeing something written on the wall: "Don't laugh at me. The joke is in your hand." And their joke, and that joke becomes bigger and bigger every day. And at some point, this empire collapses. Now, we don't want it to collapse, but you know what? When it's going up, it shits on us, and when it goes down, it'll shit on us the same. We have to figure out what is our exit plan. Or if America is going to be great again, will it be great because black people finally got their share?
Real talk. So I want to thank you again, Dr. Short, for calling in. We'll be back. Dr. Short and I'll be back at it on Patreon later this week. You guys on Patreon, just keep your emails up, and you'll get the email when it's when we select the date and the time. Okay. Any closing things you want to say to the people?
I want to tell the people to tell people the craziest experience I had throughout the whole time was people demanding blood money for me to pay for my mother to be buried on Columbus Day when my mother's an Indian. And all the banks and shit were closed, one. And then it dawned on me I couldn't get my credit card payment through. Then I cussed the man out. How dare you ask me, an Indian, to pay for the burial of my mother, Indian, on Columbus Day? We hate Columbus. Y'all can wait a damn day for me to pay this. Hung up on his ass. Stay out of other people's fights and issues. Take care of your business. Wipe your ass and you'll be happy. Everybody doesn't want to wipe their ass, and not everybody's ass should be wiped. Wipe your ass. Brush your teeth. Help yourself. In the words of my cousin, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, do for self and don't stop doing for self. That's the only way we're going to make it. And hard times will make great people. We don't need anybody but God and some real unity among those people who want to be together. And for the fuck niggas, you guys, the black folks that don't want to get on code, life's going to be a turkey shoot, and you're going to have the tethers and everybody else decimate your asses. And you deserve it. So while you can get on Noah's Ark, and I'm not talking about that shit that was on the Logos channel, while y'all got a chance to coalesce with good thinking, considerate human beings that happen to have the FBA connection, make those connections. And for those that don't get it, not everybody's going to get saved. And after all these Negroes have come and bothered me for my mother's shit and haven't even given me a sympathy card, we don't want to save everybody. In fact, you know, the best thing about going to the bathroom is that you can flush the stuff you put in the bowl. It doesn't get a rerun, okay? Y'all take care.
Thank you again, Dr. Short. That was Dr. Randy Short giving us the real deal. And I'm glad he came on because I want to really talk about who Dick Cheney really was. And for a lot of you who are young out there who wasn't around during that time or weren't paying attention during that time he was in office, because a lot of black folks didn't really start to tune in politically until Obama ran. This dude murked the country. Inflation, the wealth disparity rising, the housing bubble, the housing collapse, the bubble that raised houses to these purchase prices that nobody could afford, then subsequent collapse. But the cat was already out the bag, so they just did it in a more refined manner when the housing market recovered, all based on what this dickhead was doing. One of the worst things ever happened to America. I always say, of the 20th century and 21st century, he's into the 21st century, of the people who did not get elected to the presidency, highest office, Dick Cheney and Henry Kissinger, and then maybe J. Edgar Hoover were probably the three most wretched, but at the same time highly influential, for better or for worse, politicians of the last 100 years. Henry Kissinger and Dick Cheney. And they died about 2 years apart because Kissinger died around this time in 2023. Towards the end of the year, it's either like November, December 2023 when Kissinger died. And so don't let these people rewrite this story. And yeah, Dick Cheney and President Obama and George Bush are all cousins. They're all family. All these politicians are the same. The ones that make it to the top office. Ain't none of them shit. They all are there to support their own family, not us. So don't fall out with people you know in real life over what these dickheads do out there. You dig? In the meantime, all my Patreon folks, we're going to have Patreon in a couple hours. I'm starting my series today as promised. The classical era of black R&B classical. The era between 1965 and 1985. I may move that back to 1960. But we're going to go really break down the classical era of black music. All right? That's going to be on Patreon. And then I might be back live tonight, later on, tonight from my phone. I'll see. All right? But Patreon, give me a couple hours. We'll be right back at it on the classical era of rhythm and blues. All right? Thank y'all again for listening. And don't let this rewrite of this history get you fooled. Dick Cheney wasn't shit. All right? Y'all have a good one. We out.